Fala galera da Ag Fight, eu sou o Neri Fung e minha entrevistada de hoje é a Holm. Hey Holly, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Look, before we start, just gonna let me start with the huge news that came out yesterday. Your new contract with the UFC, 6 new fights, right?
Yes,
How are you feeling about this new deal?
I feel good. I'm glad to be able to keep continuing, my fighting with the UFC. It's been a great journey so far, and I'm just ready to keep it going.
For your last fight against Kathleen Vieira, there was a lot of talk about you maybe retiring and all that. And with this new contract, I guess it's all dead right now, right? But is this your last contract, or do you feel like maybe you could fight even more than 6 fights?
I like to take one fight at a time. So, I wanted to sign so that I can have, future just going forward with my career. But, I got to see 6 fights. That's a lot of time and a lot of fights. So we'll see what happens at the end of that.
You were inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And do you think when it's all said and done, you're gonna also be in the UFC Hall of Fame?
That's my hope. I want to do the best I can in this sport and in this career that I can do that. I'm always one of those that wants to do something that hasn't been done yet, and that's something that hasn't been done. So maybe I'll be the first person to ever do that.
You already is the first person to hold a boxing world champion and be a boxing world champion and UFC champion.
Yep.
And if you get in the UFC Hall of Fame, you're gonna be the first to be in the both Hall of Fames. How
Yep.
much this would mean to you and your legacy?
I think that it's something that's going to be put, in history forever. And I'm still writing my book, still writing my legacy. And that's why I want to do well in all my fights to come. I don't want it to be that, oh, I've already just done these things. I want to keep doing well. I want to keep winning. I want victory. I want to feel that, um I want to keep progressing in my career and keep pushing forward and keep getting better.
With all those credentials, do you think people kind of forget your name when discussing goals, especially considering combat sports in general, no, not just MMA?
I think there's so many fighters that are up and coming and so many people that are making a name for themselves that you just got to focus on your own journey. I become fans of a lot of these other fighters that are coming up as well, and I want to, see what they can do. So people they can get real sidetracked watching, which and not in a bad way. I think it's a good thing. I think they're being entertained by a lot of these fighters. So my job is just keep winning so that that I still am known too. That I still make an impression on people.
Speaking of this conversation about goals and all this stuff, the names we always see is Amanda Nunes, Cris Cyborg, and Valentina Shevchenko. It's almost like the three that we always hear. You fought up the three of them, right? And
Yeah.
who do you think is better?
I think they're all just different. You can't even compare them. Valentina's Valentina's very much of a, counter striker. She kind of waits for you to come in. She's not necessarily an aggressive striker, but she's very, very accurate. She's very technical. Cris Cyborg's not that. She's going to be more aggressive. She's, a little more wild with her style of fighting. And Nunez kind of has a mix of most of her fights that she wins are all stand up, but she still has a little bit of scrambles on the ground. I just think that they're different, and you really can't compare them. I think they're all just they all they all pose different threats, different strengths.
In terms of maybe legacy, I don't know. Can you at least rank them, or
I think they're three completely different people. You can't put them in the um, same category. I think um, they're three different styles of fights. They're three different. I wouldn't really put one above the other. I think Shevchenko has done more than the amount of fights that she won in a row for her belt. Nunes is, she had a huge fight win streak as well before she lost to Pena, and she's had two belts from two different divisions. Cyborg didn't fight that long with the UFC, but she's been reigning for a while. I think Shevchenko and Nunes probably have fought more of the top 10, like in a row. But really all of them have been doing their own thing. You can't really put, I think you can't really rank them. But
I got it. Well, speaking about your fight on Saturday against Yana Kunitskaya, she's coming. It's her first fight after giving birth. And do you think this may play a kind of a advantage for you?
I think anything in life you can use for a positive or a negative thing. Some people can come back and say, oh, they went through birth, so their body went through this, or they're going to come back and say, oh, now I have a child, and I have everything to fight for, and it gives me strength, and it gives me purpose. And so she trains hard. I have no doubt that she's going to be 100% in shape for this fight and ready to go. I think she's going to be coming strong.
There was a huge controversial decision in your last fight, right? And that kind of puts a little more pressure or motivation on you for just finish the fight and not leave it in the judge's hands.
Yeah, there's a lot of if this and then that, and I wish I coulda, shoulda, but it is frustrating because you look at punch stats for that fight, and it's like, how in the world did they see her winning? Even her corner was telling her, "You're losing. You need to do something. You need to finish because you're not winning this fight." So even they don't believe it. But with that being said, it wasn't my most stellar performance. I definitely need to do better and do more going forward, and it's just something that I had to learn from. But it's frustrating. Yeah, you want to be able to just finish a fight and not put it in the judge's hands, but unfortunately, a lot of fights go to the judges.
We have seen a lot of controversy in judges' decisions. Personally, do you think there is a solution for that?
I don't know. I think it's hard. There's a lot of factors that come into every fight, and I definitely think that there can be almost like a perceived thought in a lot of judges' minds, and it's hard to get like a non-biased judge sometimes. But um, you know, it's hard to even know what judges are. Some judges want to see, oh, what exact punches landed, or some judges want to see control, or some judges want to see, you know, just kind of aggressive, or some judges want to see precision, and they get kind of, I think, kind of stuck in their own. But I think that the best thing to do is to really look at the fight as a whole. But I don't really have an answer for it. There's really, us as fighters, we train, we show up, and we just have to put it on the line.
You mentioned the frustration about the decision and about even your performance. You mentioned it was not your best one. And before that fight, you were expecting that to be kind of a title eliminator, right? And
Hmm.
since then, Nunes got her belt back from Pena, and there's been a discussion about a trilogy between them, but nothing set in stone until now. Do you think the division is kind of stuck right now? It's kind of stuck right now, and do you think it needs an interim belt?
I think we'll see what happens. I think if it goes too much longer, then yeah, they're going to need to do an interim belt. But um, who knows? Nunez might pop up having a fight sooner than we think. I know they're trying to get her and Aldana to fight, and that didn't go through. Um, then they're thinking, I don't know. There's just a lot of talk of other things, but we'll see what happens. You know, I don't know where she's really at with it. You never, like I say, you never know. She might be an announcement that comes up that she's got to fight. Until then, all the other girls are just going to be working and fighting, and we'll see what happens.
This new contract, 6 fights, are you planning on doing all 6 fights at bantamweight, or maybe you can see you in featherweight?
I guess we'll just see what happens. You know, I'm open to featherweight. I usually prefer bantamweight, but you never know. If the fight's right, we'll see what happens.
Great. Look, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank
And
you.
if you want to leave a message for your Brazilian fans who are going to watch this video, please.
Well, I appreciate all my fans. I've got some solid Brazilian fans, and I really appreciate them. Tune in, and I'll show you what I've learned and what I'm going to put online Saturday.